मृतदुहे नमः सर्वोपनिषदो घावो दुग्धा गोपालनन्दनः पार्थो वत्स सुधीर्भोक्ता दुग्धं गीतामृतं वहत्। ओम श्री कृष्णाय परमात्मने नमः। Pranams everyone.
Pranam, are you okay? I mean, just take a pause and then maybe you can start.
Yeah, I'm okay. Okay, we are in the second chapter where Bhagavan is talking about Atma jñāna. So he is giving all the Atma lakshanas, and he has, after giving all the Atma lakshanas, in this sloka that we are going through, which is sloka number 29, Bhagavan says this Atma jñāna is a wonder. Atma jñāna is a wonder. The guru who teaches is rare. The Shishya who listens is also rare. And he also says to understand Atma jñāna is difficult. To teach Atma jñāna is difficult. To understand or listen and understand Atma jñāna is also difficult. Why Atma jñāna is difficult? And I'll just go through the sloka again. Sri Bhagavan uvacha āścaryavat pashyati kaśchidenam āścaryavat vadati tathaiva chānyah āścaryavaschainam anya shrunoti shrutvaapyenam vedana chaiva kaśchit. So Bhagavan says, people see this Atma as a wonder. In the same way, they speak about this Atma jñāna also as a wonder, Atma as a wonder. They hear about this Atma jñāna as a wonder. And there are still people who, in spite of hearing it, do not understand it. That is the purport of this sloka. Now, why is this Atma jñāna different or is a wonder? First and foremost, the subject itself is different. Normally, whatever subject we learn, it is always about an object. It can be objectified, it can be experienced. That is what we have understood as something to be known throughout our life so far, whether it is in physics or chemistry or biology. It's always about something that we have either seen, heard, or to be seen, or to be understood. But here the object that we seek to understand is different. The object we seek to understand here is the subject itself. The subject meaning I have to understand me, I, self. So this is the first why it's a wonder, why it's different. Atma jñāna is different from other subjects. And the way it is taught is also different. In other objects, we actually learn about it and then we experience it. Here for Atma, the fact that we are experiencing itself indicates that I am there. There is nothing to be experienced. And the way it is taught is, normally it is taught and then you experience. Here we already are experiencing the world, therefore I exist. And then we are taught about this through a three-stage process: Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasanam, where you listen, then you reflect, and then you assimilate. So the method of teaching is also different. Then the third thing, how it is different is, in this world I seek peace, security and happiness. I look for contentment, I look for fulfillment, I look for security, securing my future. I look for happiness, joy. And then the Shastra says what you seek is not actually outside, it is within you. It is you. And therefore this becomes a wonder. Whatever I seek in this world is not available in this world, but is what I am. And therefore this Atma jñāna is a wonder. And then I realized that this new substance that this Vedanta is going to teach me. When the Vedanta says, okay, you are looking for peace, security and happiness, let me teach you, or let me help you attain it. When it's said, it comes back to the self, so it is not a new substance that I am actually going to learn about. I know myself, I know I am. And therefore it's a wonder when it says, okay, whatever I seek is I am, and I already know about myself, or I already know that I am the self, I exist. So there is not something new that Vedanta is going to teach about. There is no new substance that I am going to get to know. Even if it's going to teach about myself, it's something that I know as a substance or as a person that exists. So it's again a wonder. And this is all explained by you remember the 10 friends journey across the river. All these thoughts all these points are brought in there. On the 10 friends cross the river, and then the person starts counting. One person starts counting, and he is able to only find 9, and he finds that the 10th person has been drowned. And then the wise man comes, and then he lines them up and then counts them all, and then says the 10th man is there, don't worry. And he actually gets the one person to start counting all the 9 outside, and then turns back his finger for the last person and points it towards the person who is counting himself. And he says, that thou art. Tattvam asi. You are that. You are the 10th person. Now, when the person starts counting, was he foolish? Why did he fail to count the 10th person? That's because he didn't count himself. And why did he not count himself? Because where was he expecting the 10th or to find the 10th? The 9 persons he had found outside. And therefore he was expecting the 10th to be also found outside. And that's what we do. We always think that whatever we seek is outside in this world. The food we seek is outside. The relations outside. The possessions that we want to have outside. Everything is outside. So we also seek peace, security, happiness also from outside. So coming back to this 10 friends journey, was he foolish? No, he was not foolish. He was very pragmatic. Because he found 9 persons out there, it's natural for him to find the 10th person also out there. And that's what happens. We are trained into this thinking. We are habituated into this thinking that whatever exists must exist as an object outside. But what about the self? The self is not an object. The self is the subject. And what happens when you actually, for this 10th guy, this person, when he actually identifies himself to be the 10th, the Guru comes and shows him who he is. Now the moment he has found himself, whatever he was searching for stopped. He found what he was looking for. And not only that, he was happy. He was contented. So that's what Shastra also says. The moment you are able to recognize yourself, you become happy, you become contented. So it's not a new substance that is revealed by Vedanta. So that's a wonder. Now the fifth and last wonder about the Atma Jnana is the way that I have to learn about the self. Whenever I think of I have always mixed up this anatma body and my atma together. This chetana tattva, this awareness principle, this consciousness principle has been mixed with this body. The body itself is inert, it's jadam. The mind is a jadam. The thoughts are jadam, inert. But there is a mixture. I have always thought myself to be the mixture of this chetana and achetana tattva, this awareness and this inert principle. Now what Vedanta does is it removes the achetana tattvam from the I. It says, when you say I, you are not the body, you are not the mind. And therefore the way that I learn is actually to remove the anatma portion and to understand the I. Because to understand I, the self, is not easy because it cannot be objectified. A subject can never be an object. And therefore, and moreover, the subject itself has no features. It does not have color, it does not have shape, it cannot be smelt, it cannot be cut, it cannot be made wet. I cannot experience the self. And therefore, the only way for me to understand is to remove the anatma reference from I and understand the self. And therefore, this method of learning is āścaryam. So that's the first point, if you see. Remember, there are three different points. One is about the Atma Jnana itself, then he talks about the Guru, then he talks about the Sishya. So for the Atma Jnana itself, there are so many things that are wonder about this self-knowledge itself. And therefore, jñānam is āścaryam, jñāta is āścaryam. For a person who has understood Atma Jnana is rare. Atma Jnana is durlabham or durbodham. Atma Jnana is durbodham, difficult. And therefore Atma Jnana, jñāta is rare. Now, second point is Guru is āścaryam, Upadesha is āścaryam. There are so many people in this world and there are so many spiritual gurus. Although spiritual gurus are themselves rare when compared to other subjects, whether you take other subjects that we need to learn in this world, whether it is maths, physics, chemistry and all those allied subjects, you have so many teachers for that. Spiritual gurus are rare or less in number. And within those spiritual gurus who are teaching Atma Jnana, who are teaching Vedanta, are even more durlabha. So, Atma, the person, the teacher is rare. Guru āścaryam and Upadesha is also āścaryam. Then finally the listener, the seeker is also rare. Not many people come to attend these classes. Probably we would have already seen some dropouts from the first class right from now. Not many people have an interest about this knowledge. Adi Shankara says, and also our Guru says, first of all, we need to have some punyam to come into spirituality. Only if you have punyam, you will seek the truth. And only when you have punyam, you will understand Vedanta. Only when you have punyam, you will have interest in Vedanta. Not many people will have interest in Vedanta. There are many people who are out there who would say, I am happy the way I am. I just want to lead a nice life, a dharmic life. Be happy with whatever I have, not being selfish or not trying to steal anything from others or feel jealous about anybody. I am happy the way I am. There are some people who say, okay, I probably want to know about God, but I think bhakti is the way, Naama Sankeertanam is the way, and they go for bhajans and all those things. Then there are some people who think social service is the way to reach Bhagavan. Manava Seva is Mahadeva Seva, or Nara Seva is Narayana Seva. They believe in that. So there are not many people, and there are some people who give mixed spirituality with corporate terms to make you feel good about what you are doing wherever you are. So there are people who would like to be in that set of people. They would like to listen to that guru. Not many people come to this direct Vedanta. Because to understand or to get a liking or to have an interest is not easy. We need to have punyam, and this is the ultimate truth. What Shastras say, Shastras does not say, or from our teaching, it does not say that you should not be a nice person. It does not say you should not do Naama Sankeertanam or bhajan. It does not say that you should not do any seva for others. It does not say that you should find a way to actually make your present life happy with small adjustments from whatever you learn. No, it does not say that. It says all are okay, all are valid, but all are valid only to a certain level. What we talk about here encompasses everything. When we say Panchamahayajna, we will be saying Panchamahayajna soon in Karma Yoga. We will be talking about societal service to society. We will be dealing about that also. When we talk about bhakti, yes, we will talk about bhakti. There is no Vedanta without bhakti. So we will be covering all those aspects, but those are all small steps or the beginning steps before you can come to Vedanta or before we understand Ātma jñāna. But why is this important? Why is this class important? Why is this Atma Jnana class important? Why is Vedanta important? First of all, we need to understand what should be my final goal. What is moksha? What am I striving for? What is the purpose of my life? Where does it all end? Or how can I make sure that I am ever happy, ever contented, ever fulfilled? I need to understand that drive, I should have that feeling to actually search. That has to be within me. And then I have to understand where I have to go, final step. Then I have to know what is the path to take. There are people who think that moksha is got, first of all, they may not even understand moksha. And that's the problem. See, a lot of people other than Advaita think moksha is something to be attained after death. And moksha is about, and the way to attain moksha, in some philosophies, it says, just leave it to Ishvara. Surrender to God. That's how you get moksha. But Advaita is very clear. Moksha is something to be attained in this life, here and now. And of course, you can also attain moksha. The extension of moksha is, after death also, you do not get to be born. And the way to attain moksha is only through jñāna, only through the proper understanding of the self. And to understand self, there are certain steps we have to take before we can understand the self. And the whole roadmap is actually drawn out in Bhagavad Gita clearly. And that's why it's very important for us to come to this class. First of all, understand. Of course, you should still do bhakti, you should still do manava seva. But Shastra Shravanam is very important to understand what the Shastra says. So, Shravanam is āścaryam, Shrota is āścaryam. The person who listens is rare. Listening is also difficult. So all the 6 are durlabham. And then Bhagavan finally says in this same sloka, Shrutva pyenam vedana chaiva kaschit. Api Shrutva pyenam. Api Shrutva, which means in spite of hearing, Sa kaschit. There are still some people. Kaschit means some people. Not us. Some people. Na eva veda enam. They never understand this Atma. So in spite of coming, they may not understand this Atma. And that's why they drop off. They drop off because they are not able to understand. Why they are not able to understand? Because they do not have the interest. Why they don't have the interest? 2 things. Because first of all, it cannot be understood the first time around. You will have to listen again and again. The same thing would have to be repeatedly understood. The whole Brahma Jnana is only just one sentence. The Guru says, Tattvam Asi. That's all. That you are. What you seek is what you are. That's the crux of this entire Upanishads, the entire Vedas. And then if the student is so good, if he has got all the qualifications, we talked about the qualifications, the 4-fold qualifications. What are those 4-fold qualifications? Viveka, Vairagya, Shatka Sampatti and Mumukshutvam. If the person has these 4-fold qualifications, he will immediately say, Aham Brahmasmi. That's all. Teaching is over. So what we have to do is we have to develop these qualifications. And how do we develop these qualifications? Again, Bhagavad Gita has laid out what are the steps to do to develop these qualifications, build these qualifications. And this initially, even if it is difficult to understand, if we repeatedly listen, we will understand it. The key thing is we have to be soaked in Vedanta at all times. What this 1 hour class every week is not enough at all. Actually, it has to be listened daily. So I suggest every day spend some time listening to earlier lectures. Keep yourself soaked in Vedanta so that you are never out of it. And the more we listen, the easier it becomes to understand things. And every time we will listen, we will get a new thing out of what we listen. That's what happens, because the first time we listen, our intellect and our understanding is at a certain level, and only certain concepts will go into us. Certain things that I am able to identify myself, certain things that I already have an opinion of things how they are. If the Guru is talking in those lines, then I actually am able to understand the Guru better. The moment there are certain things that are against what my thoughts are, or beyond what my thought process or my line of thoughts are, then I don't grasp those points. But as we actually mature, as our intellect gets matured slowly, as we understand the base concepts better, then when we listen the same lecture for the second time, we will be able to get new knowledge out of it. The knowledge that had been missed out, skipped when we had listened the first time. So keep listening. And if we keep listening, we will not fall into this category. Shrutva penam vedana chaiva kaschit. In spite of hearing, some people never understand this Atma. As I said, this sloka, Bhagavan has taken it from Kathopanishad. Kathopanishad also says the same thing. Shravananyapi bahubiryo na labhyaha shrinvantopi bahavoyam na vidyuhu āścaryavakta kushalosya labdha āścarya jñāta kushala anushishta. Not many people get the opportunity to listen to this Atma Tattva. Even to come to this class, you need to have Punya. That's what Shastra says. Even to get an opportunity to know that about Vedanta, to listen to Vedanta, we need to have Punya. And listening also gives Punya. We will come to that later. Because we say we need qualifications, but how does listening help in building those qualifications? Will come there. So this Shravanam also gives some Punya. So the same Kathopanishad also says, so what we have to do? We have to put effort. Only then we can understand. So this is different from other philosophies where they say, surrender to God, He will take care. Here we do not believe in that. We say we need Ishvara's blessing. Definitely. But your effort is equally important. Moksha is not something that can be got without prayatna, without any effort. It cannot be got yadrichaya. We say, no, yadrichaya kadachadu. No, just like, some accident. No. There is no adrishtam, there is no luck. Okay, I was lucky, I got moksha. No, that's not how it works. It's not like lottery. In Advaita, one has to put the effort. And one has to have the blessings of Ishvara. Both will have to work. Swami Paramarthananda used to say, you need to have the pull engine as well as the push engine. So you will have to pull the engine from the front. Bhagavan will push the engine from the back. and it works on equal terms. You put effort, Bhagavan will put equal effort. And what about, is listening alone enough? Listening is very important, because listening will make a change to our mind. Why listening? Shravanam, why is it important? You see something. When you are in a mood, or forget when you are in a mood, you switch on a music. Does the music not change your mind? The moment you put the music, you listen to something, the mind changes. That is how powerful listening is. You listen to some old classic music, you go back, or you get nostalgic. Listen to something which is very peppy, you want to dance. So the music changes the mood and the mind. And that is because it goes through ears. So Shravanam is important. The more we listen, the more our mind will change. And not just that Shravanam, we have to take an effort to change our guna. We have to make an effort to change our guna and character. The samsara gunas are by nature within us. And that's why we have taken this chapter 13, 5 slokas, and the chapter 16. Because that talks all about changing our character. Our character, our behavior, our attitude, whatever you can say. Or our personality, our habits. And it is not that in this kind of class we will point out, okay, you need to change this character, you need to change that character. We know ourselves. We know where we should be, what is right, what is wrong. When we listen to this 13th and 16th chapter, we know what is needed. And then from there we also say where we are. And we have to be honest to ourselves. We have to be brutally honest to ourselves. There is one thing to say, I have a good name in the society. People always try to get a good name from the society. People do not want to be a good guy in the society. Our attitude should change from becoming or getting a good name to being a good guy. And why is this important? To change our character, to change our guna, to change it? Because the impurities in our mind, it will not allow the knowledge to be assimilated. We might get this knowledge. When I say neti, you are not the mind, you are not the body. The one that is able to actually get the body to act, the one that is able to make the mind think is you. I seem to get it. I will be able to get it. But it will not be retained because of the impurities in the mind. Therefore, Chitta Shuddhi has to be attained. Or what we call as Sadhana Chatushtaya Sampatti. Viveka Vairagya, Shatka Sampatti and Mumukshutva. In other words, 4 Ds. What are those 4 Ds? Discrimination, dispassion, discipline and desire for moksha. And if we do Shravanam with that qualification, that the benefit of Shravanam, the jñāna will come. So then there is a question, right? I don't have this sadhana chatushtayam. So some people may say, I don't have this sadhana chatushtayam. Why should I actually listen to this Vedanta? Let me first work on my sadhana chatushtayam and then I come back and listen. Why should I do Shravanam now? Shastra says, Shravanam itself will give sadhana chatushtayam sampatti. So Shravanam, by listening right now, instead of it giving it jñāna, Shravanam will give us the qualifications needed for jñāna. Why? Only when I listen, I know or I get the understanding of how I am living today as against how I need to live actually. So this Shravanam will tell me where my faults are. what my issues are. It also will tell me what I need, where I need to be, how I need to be. And slowly it will make a change, and it will induce me to make the change. Of course, Shravanam is going to give me only this change, it will be very slow. But within Bhagavad Gita, we'll be reading other sadhanas that we should do to fast track this sadhana chatushtaya sampatti. So this Shravanam will give us two benefits. First few days we may not understand anything. It will all seem abstract. But listening itself, because we need punya to understand, but listening itself will give us the punya. And by constantly listening, that punya will start working, and we will start understanding this story. And what happens when we listen, this punya would have resulted as a desire in us to continue listening more. And it is not done, it's not that I take a book, finish this book, now I have done, I am now qualified. Or I take a test, I pass the test in Bhagavad Gita chapter 2, now I am a moksha certified. No, it does not work that way. Moksha is a long drawn process. It's an everyday activity, every moment activity will have to be validated. This is entire life's purpose. Life's purpose is not about earning money, living happily, enjoying life, having a peaceful retired life. All of that requires punya. And yet, that punya, once it gets exhausted, we are back to square one. Moksha is about, and first of all, nobody will have such a beautiful life. Not even Bill Gates. Today we'll have to say not even Elon Musk. Not even the President of United States. Or not even the most famous person in this world. Not even the most famous actor, actress in Hollywood, Bollywood, whatever. Nobody gets it. Life's purpose is given in Shastras. Moksha is the purpose. There are sadhanas to attain moksha. Our entire life should be devoted in about how to get moksha. Right now, moksha could be in the list of things that I want to achieve in this life, is probably in the list, it's probably 100th. It has to slowly come to the top 20, then top 10, then top 5, and then slowly it has to come to top 1. It's not going to happen overnight. It should not happen overnight, because then we will get an aversion towards it. Nothing can be done. There is no overnight fix for anything. We will have to slowly change. We will have to make that change in our personality. There are certain gunas that I need to bring in. There are certain gunas that I will have to eliminate from my personality. As I do that, slowly we will also see the moksha coming up. It actually works two ways. The more I have mumukshutvam, the desire to have moksha, the more I will work on my gunas. The more I work on my gunas, the more I will see the moksha coming up the list. And once we get the sadhana chatushtayam, when we listen to this guru again, when he says, we will be able to understand that immediately. And as we progress in the sadhana chatushtayam, the same lecture when we listen again, we will have a better understanding. And at that time we might even say, only now the Guru is teaching well. Or we might not be hearing the same lecture, but if we start hearing the lecture of Guru now, we'll say the Guru has experience. He didn't have enough experience in the previous course. Now in this current series, he is able to explain it better. The Guru has improved, which could be true. But there is also another truth, that is, the Guru might have been saying the same thing earlier, but because I am able to understand better now, and why am I able to understand better? My gunas have changed. I am changing internally. And as I am changing internally, I am able to understand things better. So, when should I stop Shravanam? When should I stop listening? Until I get jnana. Until that time, I should keep listening again and again and again. So listening is a sadhana, Shravanam is a sadhana. First it will help us to build qualifications. First it will help me to tell the roadmap, tell me the path, tell me the sadhanas to undertake, tell me the gunas that I have to imbibe. Then it also helps me to build the qualifications. And then it gives me the final mukhya pala, that is jnana, that is moksha. So some people say that, all this, there are some people who listen to Vedanta and say, Vedanta is not, it's all boring. It does not give full benefit. You come to me with this Guru, this yoga, meditation he teaches, that will give you, faster progress and stuff like that. And he will start blaming, this person will start blaming Shastras also. Listening to Shastras, no, it's not for, Shastras are not to be listened. If we are not able to get the benefit from it, we should not blame the Shastras. And there are some people who, in spite of listening to Shastras for so long, they would not be able to remove this feeling of jealousy. They will not be able to reduce their anger from their personality. They will not be able to improve their titiksha. And others looking at them will say, Gita, you've been studying Gita, you've been coming to the class, going to the class for so long and it has not helped you. So how is it going to help me? And therefore the Shastras are not, listening to Shastras is not the way. Some people might conclude that way. But we cannot and should not conclude on Gita or Upanishad's greatness or their glory, the glory of Gita, the glory of Upanishads, just by seeing one or two persons. Those one or two persons do not have the necessary qualification, they may not be able to imbibe the qualities. If they had probably stuck to it and kept repeatedly listening again and again, maybe they would have also got the benefit, but they didn't do it. But we should not, by looking at them, cannot conclude on the Gita and Upanishad's usefulness. They are great texts. They have benefited so many people. All the gurus always talk about the glory of Bhagavad Gita and Upanishad. All the Mahatmas, they talk about it. So repeated Shravanam will give its benefit ultimately. So keep listening. Otherwise, if we don't listen, Shrutva Penam Vedana Chaiva In spite of hearing, one never understands. And it's like for maths and chemistry and all, if it is taught properly, it has to be understood. If I teach properly, the other person with a limited intellect or with intellect will be able to get it. Whereas Atma jñāna is not like that. Atma jñāna is different. And Bhagavan is also going to say that later. He will say it is Raja Vidya, Raja Guhyam. It's a secret. It's royal knowledge and a royal secret. Why is calling it as a secret? Generally what happens, when I let out a secret, then it does not remain as a secret anymore. Whereas if the other person is not able to understand what I gave out as a secret, then it remains as a secret. For the other person, it remains as a secret. And that is what happens with Atma jñāna. The Guru can teach Atma jñāna, but if the Shishya is not able to get it, it remains as a secret for him. And not only that, why it is secret and why it is a royal knowledge? Royal knowledge because it's only the cream of the cream people come to Vedanta, Bhagavad Gita and Upanishads. Not everybody come there. It's royal, it's a limited, limited edition. And then secret because the person who has understood this, even when he explains what is Atma jñāna, this person can be an Atma jñāni and he can explain what is Atma jñāna. For the person who is understanding, who is the seeker, he will have to go through the entire sadhanas himself again to get this knowledge. In other subjects, the person understands it, he creates so many experiments, he comes up with a theory, he is able to now prove the theory, he has now condensed the theory and he explains the theory to the other person. The other person is able to get it. What he has spent about 20 years of his life, he comes back and he gives it out, another person understands it in 3 hours. Because he has now spent the entire effort in identifying the correct answer for this theorem or whatever. Whereas in the case of Atma jñāna, whatever time this Guru has spent in terms of purifying himself, in terms of qualifying himself and understanding the Atma jñāna, the Shishya will also have to go through the same thing. So it is Raja Guhyam. It's a secret. It's different from other knowledge. Actually, listening is not difficult. Shravanam is not difficult. Even to understand is not difficult. Difficulty is in the preparation. The qualifications are difficult. Viveka, Vairagya, Shatka Sampatti is difficult. It's just like removing hunger. Removing hunger, what should I do? Eat. If I eat, hunger is removed. Eating, not so difficult. 5 minutes, 10 minutes, my hunger is removed. 2 mouthfuls, my hunger is satisfied first. After that, whatever I eat is only for my liking, for my taste. But what about, for me to eat, I should cook. And cooking is difficult. Cooking takes 3 hours. Eating takes 10 minutes. But to remove hunger, I have to do both, cooking as well as eating. And just by cooking, my hunger is not going to be removed. So just by getting the sadhana chatushtaya sampatti, I am not going to get moksha. I have to get this jnana. So shravanam, mananam, nididhyasanam is must. That is the final step. But even to get there, I have to get sadhana chatushtaya sampatti. And as I said, shravanam is easy. Preparation is difficult. Listening to the shastras is easy. Sometimes once we get the liking for it, we may love to listen it throughout. Not an issue. But not getting angry is difficult. Not getting jealous is difficult. Not feeling proud is difficult. Meditation is difficult. To get ourselves prepared is difficult. So preparation is difficult. Shravanam is easy. Listening should give us joy. It will give joy. The Shastras are wonderful. When we are extremely hungry, every mouth we take, it will give us joy. In the same way, this Shastras will give us joy when we are a seeker. When we are a seeker, every time we listen something new, get something, and then we feel so happy. Shravanam is joy. But we should also do the sadhanas. Listening to Gita once is never enough. Why we are going so much in detail? Why not quickly pass through Gita? What we are saying, what the gurus have taught and what I am actually reproducing here in detail is because this is not to be listened only once. Once we fully understand, you come back and listen to it again. There are so many things to have got. And while teaching, the Shastras are working in such a way that all the FAQ-like questions are given. We create the doubt. What could be the possible doubts here? We create the questions and we answer the questions again. These are questions that would never come in our mind when we listen for it for the first time. And therefore the answers will not register in our mind also. But as we actually progress spiritually, we come back and listen to it again. Because we are not going to take the same Gita class, another section. So this is like beginner's version, then there is an advanced version, then there is a final expert edition. No. There is only one Bhagavad Gita class. But the same thing when we listen again, you will be able to get the advanced version of it. When you listen to it again, you will get the expert edition out of it. So that's why we are going in detail to be able to. It answers questions that you might even an informed seeker or a more evolved seeker may have. And when we are in the evolved stage, when we listen to it, we get the answers from the same lectures. So listening is not about ticking box. Shravanam is not about ticking box. Atma jñāna has to be taken seriously. Moksha has to be taken seriously. So that is the main learning from this sloka. We'll again see it we'll see more or sloka number 30 from the next class. Any questions or comments?
Guruji, I have a doubt.
Yeah.
You told for discrimination, dispassion.
Discipline,
and the third one is
discipline and desire.
And desire. Okay. Thank you.
We have discussed about this, I think at the start. Was it about beginning of 11th sloka or 12th sloka? We have discussed about this.
Mumukshutvam and all.
All those. Viveka Vairagya, Shatka Sampatti.
Okay.
Shatka Sampatti being Shama, Dama, Uparamaha, Titiksha, Shraddha, Samadhana. We have discussed all these at the start of 11th or 12th sloka. I don't remember now.
Okay.
Okay. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha.
Hari Om.
Hari Om.